My mother is Italian, and she came from the northeast of Italy, Veneto. So I remember sitting on the side, watching my mother make pastas, minestrones, risottos. So a risotto to me is something that should walk across the plate. It should never be tight, it should never be stiff. It should be rather wet. So
what are you putting in there? Tablespoon of butter?
I never measure it.
I know, I'm going to have to translate the measurements.
Olive oil.
2 tablespoons full of olive oil.
1 onion, grated. If you want to chop it, you can chop it. But most people can't chop an onion fine, so use a cheese grater. And 1 clove of garlic, grated. You want it to dissolve into the risotto. There's nothing worse than when you get a risotto, it's got those big chunks of onion and garlic. So when you're in one of your challenges, and you need finely chopped onion, you need crushed garlic, and use the grater. It will become your best friend. So what we're going to do now is cook them without colour. Why? To remove the acidity. As you can see, the juice of the onion and the garlic is evaporating. And when you put them in your pan, the one thing you smell is the acidity of an onion and the garlic. If you don't remove it, then that's part of your dish. It's as simple as that. And that's why we fry an onion. So you can see, Gary, you can smell it, can't you, Gary?
Yeah, it's beautiful. Also, you know what I like too is just the smell of that butter. It's going to, you know, it's going to add richness and flavour. You can cook it just in olive oil, but I like the butter.
There's an argument whether you use a wooden spoon or a spatula. What do you use, Zoe?
I use a wooden spoon.
My dear mother would use a wooden spoon. Why? Because she was a traditionalist. The reality is, what a spatula does, it brings everything down from the side of the pan, and it also gets into the corner of the pan. Gary, wooden spoon or spatula?
Definitely spatula, always.
100%.
This is, you know, in the kitchen, this is your best friend now. I mean, we're not living in the, you know, in the 40s.
So there's Gary, who's worked in some of the great kitchens of the world. I worked in 1 or 2 nice kitchens. Use spatulas.
Yeah, absolutely.
Add our saffron.
That was a gram of saffron. So you get a lovely yellow colour out of that, don't you? Gorgeous.
And it'll get darker as well. Because when you have a saffron risotto, you want that rich orange colour, almost like one of Van Gogh's sunflowers. You can't be mean with saffron. So you put in your 400 grams of rice.
Now, how long do you cook the rice for, Marco?
I reckon this rice, once I start, about 16 minutes. Ignore what it says on the packet, because you'll always overcook it. I'd say about a glass of white wine. Some people don't use wine, some do. What I would say is it depends how good the wine is. If it's really delicious, then just pour it in your glass, not in the pan. So we've added our white wine now, and again, cook out the wine. If you don't cook out the wine, then you've got the acidity within the wine. You have to remove the alcohol, remove the acidity, so you get that natural sweetness of the wine. So, what have we got in our pan? 1 onion, grated. 1 clove of garlic, grated. Cooked in olive oil and butter until the acidity has been removed. In with the saffron, work it out. In with the rice, work the butter through the rice. Glass of white wine. Simple as that.
Yeah.
So our stock's boiling, and our stock is simple. White beef stock, infused with saffron. The simple rule is 4 to 1. 4 stock to 1 rice. So in this case, 400 grams of rice to 1.6 litres of stock. You can be really posh and use a ladle and pretend to be really professional, but you know, in the professional kitchen, we just pour it in like that. It's as simple as that, rather than ladle, 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 ladle.
So, Marco, we add the rest of the stock as we go along?
Yeah. So, you can see my rice is submerged in my stock. And again, one of the mistakes a lot of people make is they never put enough stock in. And by not putting enough stock in, what happens is the rice cooks inconsistently. And why do we stir? 1, so it doesn't catch. 2, so you rotate the rice, the granules, so they cook evenly. And thirdly, to knock it off the boil. As you can see now, it's boiling. That gives you reduction, makes it too strong. So by stirring it, you knock it off the boil. And that's why you have to stand over risotto. We're not far away now. For me, risotto should be served al dente. It's not a pudding. So the most important part of a risotto is the finishing. You get that wrong, then you destroy the dish. Who likes parmesan? Good. So you put in your parmesan, yes? As you can see, it's quite finely shaven. Why? So it melts. Soft butter, not hard. You see?
So you're just letting it sit on the surface of the risotto?
Just letting it melt. So come over, ladies. You may think I've been over generous with the butter, but look at the depth of that pan. So you can see it's all melting. I'm letting it sit for a minute. That will change your risottos. And then what I do is I take my spatula and I emulsify it. There we are. Can you see how creamy it is?
Yes.
Can you see how it's emulsified? Is that wet?
Yes.
That's how it should be. Any wetter, it's wrong. Any tighter, it's wrong. Do you want to try some, ladies?
Please.
Matt, do you want to come down and have a taste as well, as soon as you cook risotto?
Yeah, man.
Sure.
You know what we're going to ask, though, Matt, is if it's going to be better than yours.
I think we all know the answer to that.
So there we have it. Risotto Milanese, or should I say risotto saffron. It's that simple. Dig in. Just remember, always push it to the side. But you see, you can feel every individual grain in your mouth. It's not sticky, it's not heavy, it's light. And that's, memorize that texture. Memorize it. And just remember, it walks across the plate.
It's incredible.
It's just so smooth, and I can't believe how much flavour he's put into one pot with so few ingredients.
So what does sushi mean to you?
そうですね、
Well, in sushi, we use a lot of different ingredients, but the most important thing about sushi is using the best ingredients in the most simplest manner. That's the most important thing.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. How important is the rice in sushi?
握りに関して言いますと、
I mean, sushi is all about the rice with the ingredient on top, so it takes up half the portion of the sushi. So it is a very important part of sushi.
So can we have a look at the rice when it's cooked? Because we're not going to actually cook the rice, that's already been cooked, but I thought it was important that we kind of talk about it and see what that texture of that rice is. So explain what we're looking for and what is...
If you
what
can
is
see the
perfect.
rice grain
Yeah.
shining, you know you've got good sushi rice there.
So the first thing you're going to show us is your uni.
この
So this style is the gunkan style, and this is a style that was invented by my grandfather in 1941, the first generation of the Gourmet restaurant.
Wow.
まあ
Hang on a minute, I didn't even see... I just blinked, I didn't see that. Can I ask, back in 1941, was sushi and nigiri the same as it is now?
いやほぼ
I
同じ
think
だ
back then it was already in the same style as we're familiar with.
寿司ネタでは
But back
なか
then,
った
sea urchin or uni wasn't considered appropriate for
素材の一
sushi.
つだと思ってます、でこのウニを取
When
り
you pick it up from the box, it's important to not let it crumble.
They're so perfect, aren't they? Beautiful. Finished?
です
Beautiful. So who wants to eat it? Sarah, do you want to come up? So before you pick it up, Cube, how would you eat this in the restaurant?
あもう握
So
り
he
た
just glazed the surface with some soy sauce, so you can just pick it up with your fingers and
Yeah.
eat it.
One whole mouthful.
はい
Yeah. Are you excited by
ロースト
that?
ビーフ
I'm so excited.
I'm so excited too. My tummy is just gurgling. It's just...
いただきます。
はい
What do you taste? What do you feel?
The uni is not fishy. It actually tastes like the ocean.
Yeah.
It's got this really smooth, buttery texture, which is just awesome.
Yeah, it's gorgeous, isn't it? And the rice?
The rice is just balanced. It's good.
Yeah.
It's
Can
so
you feel
good.
the grains? The
Yeah,
whole
you
grains,
can.
they're plump,
You can.
little springy. It's really nice, isn't it?
It's delicious.
Okay, so that was the uni gunkan. So next up, what are we doing?
And we're going to have the kuruma ebi prawns.
Let's go.
今度は車
Kuruma ebi prawns.
もちろん生
They're
でも
just as good raw,
いるんですけれども、今日は、さっと
but this time we're going to boil them for about 30-40 seconds and take them straight out of the water.
最初に車エビ
So first we skewer them.
And they're beautiful, delicate prawns too, aren't they? Don't they look beautiful? Colour changes just in 30 seconds.
We
殻を
peel the freshly boiled shrimps.
Oh, there you go. So just removing that intestinal tract. Is it important how much pressure Chef Amada puts on the rice? You know, how compact it is or how loose it is?
お米同士
You
が
want the rice grains to just barely touch each other. You don't want them to mash up
本
against
当に
each
もう
other.
本当にこう
Right, who wants to come up and try? Oh, you were quick on this one, Eloise. Come on, up you come.
In one go?
Yes.
Enjoy the texture and the sweetness.
Yeah. I've never had a prawn like that before. It's just like really sweet and delicate, and the texture of it, it's like, it's beautiful.
So the texture of the rice again, you can understand now when Chef's talking about, you know, a little bit of air between the rice, that it just kind of just disappears, doesn't it? Which is lovely.
Yeah.
Like that? Thumbs up?
Thumbs up. Oishi.
So next up, we're going to make some sashimi. Is that right? They've got a snapper.
はい
Let's go.
もう今これすでに内臓とエラは
So the fish has already been gutted. And normally I'd carefully take off all the scales with my knife.
頭を落とし
So after he cuts the head off,
のところがあるんですけどもこの部分
he's going to remove the bloodline under fresh, clean water. And now he'll start cutting it into 3 parts. So the trick isn't to just sort of jab the knife with all your strength, just to sort of gently feel the bone inside with your knife and glide your blade through.
この腹骨を
Removing the bone there.
How long did it take you to train, Chef?
Took me 10 years to be called a professional sushi chef.
Now we've taken the fish off the bone and we've got 2 fillets essentially, the top quarter and the belly. Beautiful.
Now this is the belly.
脂が乗って
It's got a lot of fat.
And that's important for the flavour. Yeah. So what have we got here?
これは大根
Shredded
ですね
daikon.
And what type of seaweed?
これわかめ
Wakame.
よく
So the
昔の
daikon, it helps prevent food poisoning back when we didn't have refrigerators. And the wakame helps to relieve your bodies of the extra sodium
出すという役
of the
割
soy sauce.
I need a lot of wakame. And what's important when slicing the fish? Very smooth, long strokes.
ワンウェイ
Yeah, like a samurai.
This is the Japanese sudachi lime.
Who wants to taste this one? Diana, do you want to come up? Up you come.
So I've prepared the soy sauce for you.
いただくんですけれどもお
So
醤
just
油
wrap the wasabi up like this
わさびを
and then dunk it in the soy sauce.
It's absolutely beautiful. It's got a really nice chew to it, and that fatty part's really nice as well. It adds more flavor.
そう甘みがねあり
Fat
ます
gives it the extra sweetness.
So, Chef, what's next?
この
Now
後
I'm gonna make red sea bream nigiri.
Let's go. It's quick, I tell you, it's quick. Don't stress about it.
So the important thing to remember when making nigiri is to take as least time as possible. So normally in our restaurant, we present our sushi one piece at a time, and we'll ask the customer if they prefer a larger portion of rice or a smaller portion of rice. This is about the medium portion of rice.
It's as mesmerising as those noodles, isn't it?
Does he cut the fish for nigiri any particular way that's different to sashimi?
Sometimes the thickness could change. It depends on the condition of the fish that gets brought in each day. So if the fish flesh feels kind of firm, he'll cut it thinner. If it's soft, then it'll be thicker.
That is absolutely brilliant, and it is a pleasure to watch you put that together, and every single one is perfect. And you know what's lovely? I love that little blush of fat on each one. It's absolutely delicious. So thank you very much. We absolutely appreciate it. Beautiful.
Firstly, I want to tell you something. When I make sushi, I try to remember the gratitude that I hold towards the people who have produced this food, the rice, the fish, all the ingredients, all the gratitude I have towards the food and the ingredients. It's all compacted into this one piece of sushi. And when I make the sushi for my customers, and the customers tell me how much they enjoy my food, I feel like it creates a chain reaction of joy that gets passed around. So I really want you all to remember as you go forth in your journey in food, that food is all about giving and receiving joy.
Beautiful. That's lovely.
So we've gone here for 350 grams of chocolate, 425 grams of water. Bring the water to the boil.
Yep.
Pour it over the chocolate. I'm using water because I just think it's a great way of demonstrating how simple this is. But the water you can also add. You could add some alcohol, a bit of whiskey or brandy or rum that's maybe slightly reduced. You could put dessert wine. You can put fruit juice in there. You could put, you can really play around with the ingredients that you're going to add. But it's just the simplicity of this. And what it does, you don't have the creaminess, but it kind of opens up the chocolate more. So you can see now that's thickening. You can speed this process up. Just stick it in a bowl of ice.
So basically you've heated it up and now you're cooling it down?
Yeah.
Okay.
And with the emulsifier that's in the chocolate, it's the fat in there as well, and the water. As you whisk, what'll happen, it'll cool down to the point when the chocolate starts to solidify, when you end up with a mousse. We played around quite a bit with the ratio of the chocolate and water. So there will be a point where there's too much water to allow the chocolate eventually to set. If you don't put enough in, it will end up being hard and grainy. And it's better to make this just before you serve it. So this whole process will be done in less than 10 minutes. So you can see that it's starting to thicken.
Yeah.
Just really dispersing spreading the cooling effect from the ice evenly through the chocolate. Just one thing here now, this is now starting, as it's cooling down, this isn't far off. But just like you whip cream, how many times have you whipped cream and you realise you stop when you think it's ready? You should have stopped 2 minutes earlier. This is like that, but even more so. So just be careful not to over whip it. You can melt it again. Right, that's
you can see it's starting to change. Is there a reason why you wouldn't do that with an electric machine rather than? Is it just so you can feel it more?
It's just so you can feel it more, because when you've got that going, it blocks. I mean, from a vision point of view, it blocks a lot of what you can see, and sometimes it can go pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So it's just a bit safer.
Just see, it's about to just turn.
You have a look now. See, now it's starting to go. Just usually, so now it's very nearly there. Now I took it out of the bowl of ice because it'll take a few minutes longer, but that ice will speed up this process to the point will make it easier to over whisk it.
So much about this is all about texture, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
There.
That turns so quickly.
Oh, nice. Wow.
That's it. Yum. A little bit of salt on. But generally, to reduce bitterness, if you think something's too bitter, don't add sugar, add salt. So this is the chocolate mousse made with chocolate and water.
Taste this.
So just remember that it is the template. We thought about putting other things in, but in fact, the things is just the basic concept of it.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, do you think it's
so pure flavour? You know, I think it makes the chocolate taste more chocolatey just by.
Yeah, it just opens everything up.
Right, shall we?
Okay, let's do it.
Oh yeah. It's so pure, isn't it? Yum.
So we're going to make bechamel. Classic bechamel, 60 grams of flour, 60 grams of butter, 500 mils of cream. Now, in with my butter. Flour. Should we go in with the pasta?
Pasta goes in. So using the small macaroni.
Cooks quicker, makes life easier.
And what else should be in the water, guys?
Yeah.
It should be the flavour of seawater. Okay, so you always have to taste the water.
I'm not a pasta snob. I use packet the same as everybody else. They make their millions out of making macaroni. Let's put our energy into making a great sauce. Okay, now we add our milk. There we are. So as you can see, I use a whisk. How quick is that? Because what happens is people beat with a wooden spoon, right or wrong. And what's happening? It's evaporating. Now we take some double cream. How's it going? How long for that?
We've got 2 minutes to go.
2 minutes to go. We're under pressure, the two of us. It's like the old days, isn't it? Yes, chef.
Yes, chef.
Struggling, panicking. Just whisking cheddar, so we're just going to turn it into a cheese sauce. You could use Gruyere, but we're using cheddar. So now, to give it a little twist, a little bit of butter. I'm going to cook some wild mushrooms. Who likes mushrooms? There we are.
All the mushrooms, boss. Trumpet and morels.
Please.
Marco, do you season that way so you can see how much salt hits the pan?
I just do it for the cameras. That's not true. I season from a distance because you season evenly.
Shallots and garlic going in.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, yeah, that's better. See, he's moved on to the big heat. Right then. A little mascarpone.
Yum.
Just to soften it, to lighten it. How long for the macaroni?
Macaroni is coming out in 30 seconds.
Perfect. And you can see I'm just using a tiny bit of water because what I'm doing, I'm looking at the texture. Because what I want it to be quite dense, but I want it to be light at the same time, and that's why I put in the pasta water to knock it back. You can see it's creamy, it's rich with texture. It's not light and creamy. And the biggest mistake I think you can do is bake macaroni. It becomes dry, it becomes gluey. And you know something? It's much more delicious like this. Well, that's my opinion. Okay, then, what I'm going to do now, so I'm going to use my pan as a serving dish. Why? One, because it looks fantastic. Two, it retains heat. Think about it. There's nothing worse than cold food. Right. So I've drained my macaroni. What I do is also, if on the packet it says 8 minutes, I cook for 7 minutes. If it says 10 minutes, I cook for 9 minutes, because I want it to be in my sauce for 1 minute. There we are. Fantastic. A little bit of Parmesan. Curtis, could you do me a favour? Could you line up those bowls, please, and just sprinkle a bit of Parmesan in the bottom. So whenever I make my carbonara, when I make my macaroni, I put Parmesan on the plate, then I put it on top, because I put it on the top already. So I've got it top and bottom, rather than just being on the top. So take the mushrooms. There we are. Bit of parsley. And there are family-style macaroni cheese, but most importantly, with a white sauce, with a bechamel. How quick was it to make this? Less than 10. Come on, then. Did you cook the pasta perfectly?
Of course, boss.
Thank you.
Curtis, have you could be garnish chef, Curtis? Oui. There we are.
Thank you. Oh, thank you.
How is it, Anna?
Oh, it's amazing.
But think about it, you can taste the cheese, you can taste the mushrooms, you can taste the pasta.
Yeah.
Delicious, boss.
So American. It is, actually.
That is very American.
Yeah. That's so good.
So I'm going to make a curd. So what I need, 2 eggs. Bit of shell, always helpful. 2 egg yolks. And 150 grams of caster sugar. So off the heat. So this is like a very quick method. You have to watch that it doesn't split. There we are. And got 100 grams of soft, unsalted butter. And it has got to be soft because you really need everything to start melting straight away. And just like the 2 eggs, 2 egg yolks, 2 lemons, zest and juice. For me, lemon curd always has to be sharp, but especially when it's going on a pavlova, I really want it to make my cheeks squeak. Squeeze some lemons.
Sure.
Here you are.
You want, how many lemons do you want in here?
I want the juice. No, both,
2?
please.
Both.
Right, now, I might live a little dangerously.
The big flame.
I know I shouldn't, but I'm an impatient person, OK? It may work, it may not work. We'll see.
I love it. This is drama.
I have 2 character traits which are not regarded as like great virtues in the world, but they're very useful in cooking, and that's impatience and greed. But they really help the cook.
So I'm just pinching myself because I'm here, and that's Nigella Lawson there.
Oh, stop it.
That's quite cool, isn't it? So obviously here, the key is to keep everything moving, yes?
To keep everything moving, but every now and then, because, you know, it'll heat up, I take it off the heat and I carry on like this. And really, the idea really is to use a pan. You don't want a big pan, but you need a pan with quite a bit of surface area, because what I don't want it to be is too deep, and then you're getting a small bit under the heat. Oh,
okay,
it's beginning, can you see? It's beginning to thicken. Any minute now, we're going to have a wonderfully thick, golden, glossy mixture. You can actually see the whisk is making a mark. It will be a lot thicker as it cools. OK, let's just get rid of this to cool.
Geez, good, nice punch to it.
Really? Right, are you ready for the pav itself?
Yes, I want to see this. So, egg whites, how many?
6. You know, I always feel that cooking is a bit like child rearing, that, you know, they feel the fear in your voice, so you have got to have a certain amount of confidence and authority, or at least make it seem as if you have, otherwise nothing behaves. Start adding caster sugar.
So sugar a little at a time?
Oh, yeah, I try.
So 375 grams of sugar to 6 egg whites. So you're whisking in that sugar. We want it to look lovely and glossy.
Yes. See, oh, that is looking fabulous.
Yeah, that's almost looking like really delicious, shiny marshmallow, isn't it?
Yeah.
Beautiful.
OK. So now that's meringue, and it needs to be turned into a pavlova base. And the wonderful thing about pavlova is that it is a cross between a marshmallow and a meringue. So you need corn flour, 2½ teaspoons. And usually, with pavlova base, you use a bit of vinegar. But this is a lemon one, so I want some lemon. I'm going to put the zest of 1 lemon. Now, 2 teaspoons of lemon juice. Can I tell you, you must measure properly? I just really resent the authority of a measure. But you must always measure properly. Fold.
Do you want to line that baking tray?
I do. So will you give me a bit? And what I do is I do this in each corner, and then it sticks down.
Sorry, I've got to be.
Fold it.
No, I'm back. Right.
Okay, can I just do a bit of this?
Yeah, I love this. Is a great idea. See, that looks so great and glossy.
Right. This is when I think, actually, I would be so much happier if I were a bricklayer, because I do really like all the smoothing. Right, now, it's preheated to 180. The minute it goes in, you turn it down to 130 for about an hour, and then turn it off and leave the oven door open. The important thing with pavlova, really, is how it cools.
I like the wooden spoon trick. You create a little gap for, and then you don't have to leave the oven door open, because you leave the oven door open, you will fall over. so the pavlova's cooked. We've let it cool in the oven, so we'll get that out.
So, I'm going to try and get this out. I think we will, just
nice
about.
Work. Perfect.
There we are. So, here, this is what I think of as like the belly of it. It's all still soft. You know, look, I can make little holes in it. So, instead of doing cream and then the fruit, I really need that lemon going in straight onto the meringue. So, quite a thin layer will do it. But I like to push it quite near the end, because I like it when it starts being a bit messy and dribbling down.
Yeah. Anyone salivating yet?
Yeah, your mouth just waters.
300 mils of cream.
I don't like cream that's beaten too thick. I think it has to be aerated and thick, but a kind of slight voluptuous softness about it. For me, a pavlova is a dreamy creation. Bit more lemon zest. And when I first made this, I knew I needed something else. I didn't want to put a fruit on top, and I knew I needed something. So I toasted some flaked almonds and letting it cool, and I use quite a lot, 50 grams. It's not a garnish. It is absolutely an essential part of the makeup of this, because you need a lot of crunch.
Sure.
And so, I love the clatter, you see.
Great.
So here you are, my lemon pavlova.
Well, it looks unbelievably delicious. Who wants to try? Right, OK. Heather, Brett, Charlie and Cecilia. Oh, look at that. That marshmallowy centre is delicious, isn't it?
You can just hear that crunch every cut you make.
Nice large slice for us.
Oh my God, that is the best pavlova I've ever had.
Oh, so good.
Oh, wow. Heather?
I love the crunch of the almond. I think that makes it. I think it pairs well with the crunch of the base.
Happy, Brett?
Very.